Another consideration as the months pass by and the seasons bring with them some slightly worse weather is your line choice. Particularly on a trail you know well, you may take a line during the summer that is nice and appealing and attractive. A series of undulations in the summer that you can pump can quickly become a series of paddles that best are avoided or dealt with in a different manner in the winter months. Now ideally you don't want your riding to contribute too much to trail creep. So by riding wide round sections of trail that are slightly blown up and slightly full of moisture, it's going to widen the single track, and once enough people have ridden it, your single track is going to go into double track, treble track and much worse. However, here we do have a slight line choice still within the remits of the trail itself. Ideally we want to stick to the high side, it's the dry side. The water's running off there still fairly well, and the lower side is really a water runoff, and although if you're riding in here and making decisions late you might be drawn to the lower line because it's easier to get to, you probably want best off aiming at the high line early, and that involves spotting it early by keeping your head up and projecting, as we have been learning to do so, right down the trail as far ahead as you can see. There are other options as well in terms of actually putting a bit of trail love in. Yeah, it's great to get out and ride these trails. This top puddle here, pretty much caused by a little bit of berming at the side of the trail. And I could probably get rid of that standing water just by chipping out a little bit of the side there. And straight away, the majority of that water is going to flood off and away. And in doing so, without the standing water there, the ground underneath is going to stay firmer for longer. So your tyres running through it aren't going to cut it up so much. In turn, next time it rains, it's not going to hold so much moisture. And actually, we're saving the trails and actually helping to contribute to other riders' flow, not just our own. So although I can opt for the high side and the dry side here, further ahead, the water sitting on the trail is spread right across. Now I could stop and deberm the lot and drain the lot for everyone else, but in reality I might save that for a day specifically for trail building rather than when I'm out riding. Still though, I don't necessarily want to plough right through the middle of that puddle, through the deepest point, throwing up more water, slowing myself down, and I don't know quite how deep that is if I haven't ridden it before. So I'm going to shave the high side. Yeah, there's some angry little roots across the side there, but stay loose, stay calm and relaxed, project through the trail, take the high line, and your passage will be far smoother than if you blunder on through all that water, which although can be part of mountain biking, isn't essential. Referred earlier to a little bit about trail, picking a line through a trail and how your choices are perhaps related to what it looks like, your fear of it, how you feel about it, etc. Here's a really good example of how trail creep in the summer, where people have been straight lining a corner, is massively degrading the trail in general. This bit here really isn't trail. The bit with all the puddles and the mud, we've cut a nice trail here, a couple of little nice swoopy corners, but in order to get a straight line through, faster into the first corner, people are shortcutting the corner. That doesn't drain well, doesn't ride well, gets chopped up really badly. People are following the tyranny of the tyre mark as they ride in here. They can see the tyre marks running clearly that way. So that must be the trail. Don't be a sucker, don't fall for that. The trail is here. You'll get a much smoother ride, a much more satisfying ride, and you'll be doing your bit for maintaining your trail network by riding the trail proper, not through a pile of poop. So eventually I'm going to come across trail which is waterlogged and I can't go around it. If I don't adjust how I'm riding at all, there are some inherent dangers in hitting softer patches of trail. As my bike comes in, the softer ground is going to cause more resistance. It can slow the bike down quite dramatically, which can easily lead to over-rotation, too much over the front wheel, and I'm going to squash it out from under me like a bar of soap from under my foot in the shower. So what I want to try and do is, as I hit that softer section, is start to ease off on the front of the bike, lightening up the front at least till the back wheels enter the softer section too, and then the bike is going to slow down more evenly. I can push through with my heels and feet, keeping my weight through my legs, driving the bike through and almost planing the front wheel lightly over the first section for as far as possible, slowing the bike down more in a balanced fashion than my weight getting thrown forward onto the front of the bike. Heel drop, pushing through the bike. Under rotation is going to lighten the front end and give a little bit of acceleration into the section. Added to which, it's going to push my feet forward. All the water that's thrown up is going to hit the sole of my shoe. Toe down, it's going to splatter my tongues, end up going through my lace holes, and end up with very wet feet. That little push through technique, rolling wrists, rolling heels and shifting weight slightly backwards, useful in a number of scenarios. Here, what I'm making sure is it's bringing my body into my driving position where my mass is driving the bike. So provided I keep my hips and shoulders straight, I'm pushing the whole bike in front of me slightly, my mass is pushing through the bike. Any attempt to pull up or staying over the front, I'm towing the back end of the bike. I'm heavier on the front end. The back end's going to start to think it's a path of less resistance. It's not being pulled in a straight line, not being pushed in a straight line, it's being pulled and it can tank slap around a bit. So that heel drop, wrist drop, and I'm not talking about throwing yourself off the back end of the bike massively, will put you into a position where your mass is driving through the bike. Less susceptible to veering in different directions, and if it does, then you keep your hips and shoulders and torso pointing in, head pointing to where you want to go, you're going to bring that back in line quite naturally.